Hi folks, welcome back to MetaBox Tutorials. Today, I'll show you how to create a user profile page on the front end using MetaBox. Here is my example. Specifically, users will be able to register an account and log in as usual. Next, they will have the ability to change their password on this separate page. Further, on the user profile page, you can display some fields that allow users to edit their account information. It includes some WordPress default fields and also custom fields that I create for some further information. These are some tools we need for this tutorial. First, we have the MetaBox framework. It's available on WordPress.org. Moreover, we'll need some advanced features from MetaBox extensions. You can download them individually or use MetaBox all-in-one to have them all. To create custom fields for users, we need to use MB User Meta or MB User Profile. In this practice, we definitely have to use MB User Profile for creating the register page, login page, and user profile page on the front end. If you do not use MetaBox all-in-one, you don't need to use MB User Meta. Otherwise, if you have the MetaBox all-in-one, it will require you to enable this extension. Finally, MetaBox Builder helps to create custom fields. Simply go to the General Settings, where you can see the Membership section. Make sure this box is checked to enable user registration. Furthermore, you can set the default role for the new user. There are some options here. When using the MB User Profile extension of MetaBox, it'll provide some fields to create a registration page on the front end. However, it only includes these 4 fields. If you want users to provide additional information, you'll need to create custom fields. And, by default, WordPress already has fields for users to input information like this. But these fields can only be filled from the backend. Sometimes you may not want your users to access the backend and prefer them to input information directly from the front end. To do that, we'll create some custom fields to be the alternative to these fields. This way, users can enter the matching information, which will be automatically transferred into the corresponding WordPress fields. Just go to the MetaBox to create some fields. I'll create 3 fields to replace the 3 default fields in WordPress like this. Now I want this field to be an alternative to the first name field. This means that when the user fills in the first name field, that data will also be entered into this default field. To do that, we need to make sure the ID of this custom field is the same as the ID of the matching default field. For instance, the first name field has an ID like this. Similarly, the last name field is also set with the same ID as the default one. As for the biography info field, it has a slightly different ID, namely description. After creating all the necessary fields, move to the Settings tab and remember to set location as user. Once you have published, the field group ID will be generated automatically here. But you can also fill out the ID on your own like I do. We'll use it in the next step. Let's create a new page for registration. As I mentioned before, the MB User Profile extension of MetaBox will provide a form like this. To create the form, in the page editor, select this block provided by the MB User Profile extension. It should be a form with the username, password, and email fields here. But I logged in an admin account to do this practice, so there will be a message like this. The form will display when you go to the page without any login, as you can see here. Right now you can register an account. However, this is just some basic information for the account. If you want the user to add some other information that matches the WordPress default fields, I'll display the created custom fields in this area. Go back to edit the registration page. In the settings of the registration form block that we've just added, fill in the ID of the field group that we created here. This is the ID that I set when creating the field group for the previous register form. After filling out the ID, you won't see anything new on this page in the backend. You need to go to the front end to see the differences. Now the 3 created fields appear here. Let's create a new account for testing. Go to the admin dashboard, you'll see the new account. And the provided information is also saved in the default fields. After registering for an account, users will need a page where they can log in and manage their account information. Go to the pages and create a new one. Usually, there will be 2 fields that are username or email and password in the login form. These types of fields are automatically generated by MB user profile within a block named login form. Similar to the registration page, as I'm logged in with an admin account, I don't see the login form. Instead, I only see this message. The form will display when you go to the page without any login like this. Now you can log in to your account. You may also need the page that allows the user to change the password. Let's create a new page as usual. Add the Edit Profile form block provided by the MB User Profile extension of MetaBox as well. In this box, fill in the ID like this. Then you'll see these 2 fields displayed immediately. On the right sidebar, you can also customize this form by changing some settings. For example, change the label of this button. To access the Change Password page, users must log in to their account first. This is a page that I've just created allowing users to change their password. Usually, users need to access the backend to view and modify their account information. However, if you want to restrict users from entering the backend and only allow them to access the front end, you can create a page to display their account information as follows. As I said, the user profile page will contain fields like this. In there, these are the 3 fields that I have just created, and they correspond to the 3 default WordPress fields. Further, you can add other fields to display additional information. They're from custom fields that we'll create later. Now, create a new page. On this page, add the Edit Profile form block which is provided by MB User Profile. Do you remember that I previously created a field group with 3 default fields and set its ID like this? In the block settings, enter this ID into this section. Now you will see 3 fields displayed on the page immediately. Go back to the front end. You can see the user profile page as I showed. Here it already has the account information that I have logged into, and you can completely edit it. Next, let's add some additional fields into this page. Go to MetaBox and create a new field group. You can add any type of field that saves any kind of information you want. There's no specific requirement for these fields. Once you have created all the fields, move to the Settings tab and remember to set location as user. We'll use this field group ID later. Just copy it. Next, go back to edit the user profile page. In this section, also fill in the ID of the created fields. Then the fields display on the page immediately. You also can customize this form by changing some settings on the right sidebar. Take changing the label of this button as an example. On the front end, you will see these fields appear. You can fill in the additional information and save it on this user profile page. That's the end of today's tutorial. If you want to learn more about how to play around with MetaBox, please watch other tutorials on this channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to us for more tutorials. Bye.